Well, Kai, thank you for being on the podcast today. It's been a big
no problem.
It's been a big hassle for you, so I apologize for that. We were supposed to do this yesterday, but I surprised you. I surprised you with a video instead, and so sorry about that.
Yeah, I was naked.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting video, and then I clicked in and I was like, oh, Dave.
Yeah.
Come on, don't do this to me again. You know, you creep up, or you always surprise me with these FaceTime calls.
So
I'm ready.
Yeah, you're ready.
I'm clothed from the waist up.
Same here.
So it's all good.
That's why we have tables. Although I'm seeing your iPhone shot, so I can see your naked legs.
Oh no!
But man, a lot has happened since last we talked. I think it was like right during the pandemic last time I talked to you on the show, and here we are. At least in America, things are opened up again. What's it like over there in England?
Yeah, I mean, they said this week would be Freedom Day, Freedom Week, whatever they call it, which is utter rubbish. I mean, why do you name a day Freedom Day? It's a bit dramatic, isn't it? But that didn't happen because cases are kind of going up.
Oh, dang.
But yeah, I've had my jab. Have you had your jab?
Yeah, I mean, everybody has them now, it seems like, over here. So
it's all the rage, isn't it? It's a trend.
I guess we're really lucky, I guess, in that way, aren't we, Americans? So, I mean, I was in New York last weekend and it was totally open.
Yeah, I saw the streets in New York. People were like going crazy.
But we're not here to talk about that.
It's time to go out. It's time to go out taking photos, isn't it?
Kai and Locke are back together. That's kind of the talk around town these days, is Locke joining you in London. I loved your
I must add,
Bokeh Bros video.
It's all work related. It's not pleasure.
Yeah. You guys aren't friends at all. You're not hanging out. You're not talking. It's just a pure.
Oh no, we hate each other.
Yeah, you guys hate each other.
No, it's all good. Yeah, he's here. He's not under the circumstances he would have wanted because of all politics and stuff like that, which I won't go into. This is not a politics show.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's here and we're working together. It was great.
It's great. The band is back together. I have a question for you because, I mean, if you want to get kind of the whole story, the DigiRev story, everybody go listen to our original interview. We kind of talk about your journey through DigiRev and then starting your own channel. But I kind of have a deeper question, and it is, are you happy? Are you happy right now as a YouTuber, as Kai W on YouTube, the infamous and the only? Yeah, I mean, it's deep because it's a question that I've been struggling with myself. Like I've been chasing the YouTube kind of thing for the last 4 years. Everything has changed over the last year, especially. And now I'm kind of like, am I happy doing YouTube? I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We first met with Photokina, what was it, 2017?
Might as well just call it the last Photokina of all time. Yeah.
But I remember that was a point when I was just about going solo, and then you were doing
Kinotika
that channel,
before Indie Mobile.
And it felt like really fresh, and there's all this energy behind it, and we're both doing something new.
Exactly.
Yeah, 3 years on, I think it all started last year. Really, I started getting a bit jaded. Maybe it's all this lockdown and COVID stuff is got to me as well. But I feel like I need to do something new, something a bit fresh to just keep things new and interesting. Because I've gotten a little bit bored of doing reviews. Partly it's because of just filming myself and thinking about how to shoot it myself. It's gotten a bit boring.
Well, hopefully,
but,
I think Locke will add to that, right? That'll help.
I mean, it's more fun when you're filming with somebody, isn't it? I mean, you probably know what it's like. You worked with Connor.
Yeah, exactly. But is this an old man's job? You know what I mean? Like you and Locke were young whippersnappers when you started. You would be considered an OG YouTuber in a lot of ways. Is this an old man's job? Like, is there a retirement point for YouTubers?
I don't know, because if you're talking about a different kind of niche, maybe it's the age group, the typical age of YouTubers is quite low, but in the photography realm, I think the age is generally a bit higher.
Yeah, that's true.
Northrup, he's grey.
He's got grey hair.
He's got grey hair. Other people haven't got hair.
Absolutely.
Gerald, I don't know how old he is.
He's at least in his 50s.
You know.
Yeah. Just kidding.
But I think photography, because it also appeals to people who are a bit older as well. I think the general age of photography YouTubers is a bit higher. So I think it's luckily, I think we're not going to get phased out too easily because he's old, he's not cool. Photography's not really cool anyway.
No, it never was. It's only it's gotten more cool as Instagram has become more of a thing, I guess. But I think one of the things that caused me to get a little jaded is I don't know. I think the comments probably got to me more than it should when I was working at Indie Mogul. People were really kind of mean to me.
What? Really? Really?
But who cares?
Worse
right?
than when they're taking the piss out of how you pronounce Rico.
Yeah, Rico, whatever. Yeah, people got angry at me for saying it the wrong way.
So what? You got some abuse at
I think it's
Indie
just
Mogul.
Yeah, Indie Mogul has a very professional cinematography. You would almost call it posh, is what you would say. Attitude, kind of a stuck up, like we're better than everybody else, and then I come in and do kind of silly stuff, and people are like, stop all this nonsense. This is serious work we're doing here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I guess the trouble is that it was already quite mature, the channel. The people came to Indie Mogul YouTube channel and kind of expected something. But that's what we were like when we first started Digital Rev. I say started. Digital Rev did videos before us, and it was all unboxing, just somebody unboxing it and no face. It was just hands. We called him Mr. Handsman. And the first, I don't know how long, but it was just abuse. It's like, okay, these two idiots, what are they doing painting cameras and setting cameras alight? But eventually, you just push through it, and you eventually lose all those people. They eventually unsubscribe.
Yeah.
And then you just have to push through it.
Well said. Do you find the industry as a whole less interesting now that things are happening with the cameras and they're just getting so good now? It's almost like every camera's kind of the same at this point, and Sony is just dominating everything.
In some ways, yeah. I mean, everything's good these days, isn't it? Everything's got, and every camera has got animal AF. Every camera has got roughly the same specs. Every camera, if one camera comes out, the other brand obviously knows what the other company is doing, and they'll bring something out soon after.
Exactly.
Probably because Sony supply the sensors to everybody, so they've got kind of a bit of intel.
Yeah, don't say that in front of engineers.
But it's still interesting. It's still exciting to see new gear. It's just there's not too much to shout about compared to 10 years ago when it's like, oh, this is a brand new, this is a really exciting new development in the world of digital cameras. What left is there to do with digital cameras that'll make you think, wow, just how did they do? I mean, what do you think? What feature would make you think, whoa, I'm gonna sell my kids to buy this camera? What kind of feature would make you do that?
I think maybe we're entering kind of a lull stage where we won't see anything like that until some sort of new technological marvel happens with augmented reality or LiDAR sensors and things like that. But as far as image quality and resolution goes, I don't need any more. I mean, 8K is already more than I need,
Yeah, well, see, I mean, that's going into video, isn't it? Is there anything left to do for photography?
I guess higher and higher burst rates, I guess.
how much do you really need? I mean,
The-
Sony's A1, whatever they call it.
Yeah, the
it's
A1.
Got, what was it?
30.
30? Yeah, something ridiculous like it's basically video.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
a video.
It's raw video. Yeah, it's amazing.
So I mean, how much do you really need? It's becoming video, so that's why people are just getting into video.
Yeah,
Because eventually nobody will want to do stills. It'll just be, oh, I'm going to take a video and just pick out a frame that I like.
Yeah, exactly. I know Red was kind of promoting that as a thing you could do with their cameras for years. Like, you could use our
Yeah.
camera, but like I feel like nobody actually did that. But
Probably because it's actually a pain in the ass to kind of go through the whole video and go through all these cards just to record this, 18K or even high resolution video just to pick out one frame.
yeah, that's where the skill of the photographer comes in, I guess. Just popping off the shot exactly when it needs to happen and not going frame by frame. That's just so tedious. But yeah, I think vlogging kind of created a new niche that we were all hungry for, flip screens and dual pixel autofocus and putting the mic jack on the camera. Remember when cameras didn't have mic jacks?
But everybody's kind of it seems like the brands are quite late to jump on the vlogging bandwagon. Things happen, it's like a delay.
Yeah.
Vlogging was people started getting to vlogging a long time ago, and there's only now in the last couple of years where they're like, hey, we've got a brand new vlogging camera. It's got a flip screen. It's got a mic input. It's got a
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
It's like, dude, the vlogging fad is over now. Like, it's been over since Casey stopped.
I mean, seeing the brands do this, like, oh, check out our new vlogging camera, is like watching a businessman in a suit try to vlog. It's just a bit weird. It's a bit too forced.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
But I mean, you're using the Z Cam, right, to film this?
Yeah. Yeah.
how do you-
I'm hoping it's in focus.
You have the iPad controlling it. So that's those types of features are great to have that, so you can self-film your stuff.
See, right behind this this MacBook is not actually working anymore. I'm using it as an iPad holder.
Because you don't have the keyboard stand or whatever.
Yeah, I don't have it. So,
but
I
you
just
have
use the iPad.
You didn't want to spend $500 on a keyboard.
That's obviously a bargain, isn't it?
Yeah, just like that Supreme mic. That's in the shot.
What a Supreme mic. This is a fake. This is a fake from Hong Kong.
Tell me about the
It says
Supreme
supper.
mic. Oh, really?
It's a Shure mic which has been painted red.
I love it.
Some branding on it.
That's so
It's just
cool.
a fake. It says supper on it.
I need some Supreme. I need some Supreme swag for this shot. I need like a Supreme color chart. That'd be great.
Do you skate?
No, I can kind of cruise around, but no, I would not be considered a skateboarder at all.
That's fine. That's like most people who buy Supreme anyway. So.
Exactly.
People just queuing up to buy this shit just because it's cool. They want to be with it.
So what are your thoughts on just the current state of Canon? Canon has been doing all sorts of different things with the cinema line and with the RF mirrorless line. We're seeing some rumblings about the EOS or the EFM mount line being canceled and doing a RF APS-C line. Canon, I feel like they're just playing catch up at this point to Sony, but everybody still loves Canon. I'm shooting on the C70, and you mentioned to me even that you're considering the C70.
Well, I think it's an exciting time for Canon because there were a few years where it was like, oh no, crop this, crop that. But they're doing some really interesting things, and they're being quite brave to head in the direction of mirrorless. Obviously, that is going to be the way anyway.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense. But you would never have thought that Canon would be moving in that direction, and they're starting to do. I mean, they're calling it. Are they calling it pro camera or semi-pro camera? The R3?
The R3. Yeah, I don't.
I mean, if we're going by naming conventions, that won't even be the top model.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the EOS3, and this is the R3, which is on that level.
Yeah.
So there's potentially an R1, which could be even better than the R3. So that sounds pretty exciting.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. The 1 series for Canon is always kind of the flagship for them. I wonder if they're just calling it a 3 to differentiate it from the 1D4, because they are still selling that, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, they only just released that, was it last year or 2019?
Yeah, I think because of the pandemic, it felt like last year, but yeah, I think they announced it. I think they announced it at CES. Yeah, last year. You're right. Yeah. Because they thought the Olympics were going to happen last year, but it didn't.
To be honest, who cares? Who really cares about Olympics?
Yeah, nobody.
It's just people running around a track.
I think the real question is, are you going to buy a C70 and make that your workhorse camera? What are you using for all your YouTube videos these days? A7S?
I've got I've got a Zcam. The Zcam that I'm filming this on. I've got an XT4. And then I've got the A7 III. Yeah, A7 III. I did think about getting an A7S III, but kind of hate the green cast on the log files. So kind of think about it. But C70, I really want that. You've got to persuade me. Why should I get that?
I think it's. I mean, I'll do my best, but first off, I think you're kind of a fan of it, anyways. If you look at your history with Canon cinema cameras, you had a C200.
Okay, sold. I'm going to buy it tomorrow.
You had a C300. You were like vlogging on a C300 Mark II or whatever, right? So.
Yeah, but that was stupid. That was an idiotic thing to do.
It's just
mainly just.
It's just a workhorse, It looks really good. It's very reliable. It's got the Canon colors. The turbo booster is nice. It gives you a little speed boost. Makes it essentially full frame, and all the audio settings and everything are great. It's not very good in low light, so make sure you're in a decently lit scenario. But the DGO sensor, the dual gain output sensor, is pretty amazing because I don't know if you know about that, but it's like exposing for the highlights and the shadows and merging that together to make an image. So it's really cool.
Okay. Sold.
Yeah.
I'm buying one.
I wish the Komodo.
It's a lot of money. I mean,
it's a ton of money. Yeah, I didn't buy it. My people I've been working with, they bought it for me to use for them, and I also get to use it for this. So I didn't spend my own money on it.
I mean, I'm a bit of a tight ass, so I don't like spending money.
Supreme.
But I can't. I don't know why. I just can't bear the thought of spending that much money on a camera. I mean, it is nice to have quality videos, but it isn't everything for me anyway. I don't think, oh yes, that's going to make that. I want extra crispy videos. No, I don't think it's that important. You can do something with a £2,000 camera. You can still do good stuff with a camera that costs half the price of a C70. I don't think people can think. I don't think people really appreciate that on YouTube, unless you say, "Oh, this was filmed with a C70." Then they'll think, "Oh, that's pretty good."
Yeah,
no, just slap a lot on anything, and then if it looks good enough, then it's good enough.
Would you call yourself a droney? Do you like drones? Do you like to drone on and on?
I do drone on a lot.
No, you're a DJI fan, right? You've got a couple drones, right? Or you had one?
Well, yeah.
I don't know what the rules are over there in London, though. Is it pretty tough to get a permit to fly out there?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really fly too much. I've got drones, but it's not like I fly too much. I mean,
yeah.
You have to go out somewhere, then you have to think about, okay, are there any dogs nearby? Are there any cats that you could potentially blind?
Yeah.
Any kids that you could give a new haircut? Then no, you can't fly here. There's a no-fly zone. Any airports nearby? No, you can't fly. Any elderly? That's practically all of UK.
you can't blow off their toupee sitting on top of their head. So all elderly people.
But presumably it's the same in the US, right? You know, there's a lot of places you can't fly.
No, this is the land of the free, the home of the brave. We're allowed to fly anywhere we freaking want. No, I'm just kidding. There's there's definitely some rules. But it's pretty easy to fly around here, though. America's really big.
Yes, it is big. But do you fly a lot?
Yeah, I have a Mavic, or they're not even calling it Mavic anymore. The Mini 2, DJI Mini 2. They dropped the Mavic. I love
That's one thing that bothers me. They've got the Pocket.
Uh-huh.
And then they've got the Mini.
Uh-huh.
A Mini what? What are you buying that's Mini? It doesn't make sense anymore, does it?
No, it should.
You're buying a Pocket, the DJI Pocket. You're buying a Pocket.
Yeah.
Before it's the Osmo. That makes sense. It's the small camera.
Yeah, that's the model of this thing. It's an Osmo. This is a Mavic. This is a Phantom. You know, it makes sense. What are they going to call the By the way, is the Phantom line done? Are they never going to do another Phantom? They've never said that it's over. I feel like it is.
I think so. I mean, the what was the last one? The Phantom 4 Pro 2, whatever they call it. Is some kind of awkward naming convention. That's essentially like the Mavic 2 Pro, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm sure
similar size sensor.
Whenever the 3 Pro comes out, you know, that'll eclipse whatever the Phantom 4 Pro was, you know, so.
But who wants to carry a Phantom-shaped drone anymore?
No,
I think many people want to do that, don't they?
Yeah, I had to lug around a giant Pelican case and, you know, fly with that thing. It was ridiculous.
With every new DJI drone, I don't think there's anything in the recent couple of new products that have made me think, oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's essentially just, okay, we're making it safer, we're putting in a new cool feature in the app. Mm-hmm. It's essentially that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's similar to Apple, you know, like most people don't buy a new iPhone every single year, but whenever your time is, you know, whether you've had a phone for 2 or 3 years, Apple wants you to have access to the best technology when you're ready to buy that, you know. So same is true with drones, probably. It's like you could probably buy one and keep it for 2 or 3 years if you don't crash it. And then when time comes to upgrade, then every year they're updating it, so it's just always there for you.
That's why they're trying to get you to buy the FPV, because you're going to crash it.
That's a good point.
I don't know if you've flown that. Have you flown that?
I have not flown it. I've seen it in person. I have not flown it yet. Is it a challenge?
Every YouTuber who reviewed it on launch crashed it, more or less, didn't they?
I actually avoided watching everybody's videos because nobody knows how to fly FPV except for FPV pilots. So,
yeah,
I was like, I'm not going to watch, you know, somebody that's never flown FPV fly it, because I'm not going to get the full, like, it's like giving a brand new guitar to a guitar player who's never played guitar. You know, it's like, here, listen how good this guitar is. Well, I don't know how to play.
Exactly,
I don't know how to play guitar though. So, you know, you can tell it's really good, but I don't know how to play it. It's like, it's a hard skill to do FPV well, you know.
Totally. And the thing is, they give you this app, this game, which lets you kind of test out FPV flying using an app. It's not the same, is it? When you flick that switch to fully manual FPV mode, it is like, whoa, okay, totally different thing.
Yeah.
It's a heavy drone as well. These FPV drones are usually really lightweight. So when you crash it or fly into a cat, the damage is probably not as bad.
Yeah.
Compared to if you fly a DJI FPV into something. That is not light. That I just can't imagine.
You could break a window.
What might happen?
Yeah.
Somebody might fly. Is just going to stick that into manual mode and then fly into something like a cow or something. And just completely mash it up.
I love it. You have so many different animals that you reference. Cat, cow.
Well, it's better than saying I'm going to fly into a kid's face, right?
Yeah,
That's too graphic. Fly into the cow. I'm going to eat the cow anyway. Sorry, vegans. I'm going to eat the cow anyway. So, you know, that's not too gross a thought, is it? Because it's going to get slaughtered by the butcher.
I have some questions for you on Twitter.
Go for it. I'm ready for you.
Mr. Chris Nichols asks,
hey.
does he miss me? ... Will always have Germany.
Yeah, I miss his. I miss the German sausage we shared.
Oh yeah.
We had it's kind of because they're naturally double-ended, so we just did an end each.
I'm assuming he means Photokina.
Oh yeah. Of course, yeah.
Alex Russ. Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Do you want to say anything about DP Review? I mean, Camera Store TV. I mean, DP Review. Yeah, that's it.
Not really, but Chris, he's a great guy.
Chris.
I met him when I was still working for Digital Rev, and that was a bit dodgy because if Digital Rev had known, they'd be like, "Oh no, why are you meeting up with the Camera Store?" Because they from a long way back, Digital Rev had said, "Okay, Camera Store, they're our rivals. You should not talk to them."
Yeah.
Under any circumstance, otherwise you will be shot.
That's such a funny idea that YouTubers would actually be like rivals like that. I don't.
Yeah. Well,
it's not. The internet's pretty big.
It's not funny for, is it? I mean, YouTubers like measuring themselves against other YouTubers.
Yeah.
They're like metrics. Oh, this guy's got more views and subs than me. Why is that?
Yeah.
Well, he's getting products earlier than me. Why is that? Yeah, I met Chris and Jordan in Photokina for beer, and that was the first time we met. Actually, the only time we met, and that was cool. Yeah, I do miss them. Miss just meeting other people.
I know.
I miss Photokina.
I know. Is it going? Is it really gone for good? I think they said they're over.
Yeah,
isn't that
pretty
right?
much gone. So yeah, no more socializing. Just the only way I can communicate with them is tweeting.
Yeah. Are you going to come to NAB this year in October by chance?
No.
Can you get out? No.
No, probably not. I mean,
Maybe
staying in
next year.
Vegas. I don't get Vegas. Vegas is like, why'd I have to go to the middle of the desert just for a show?
It's it's one of a kind, that's for sure. It's a strange place, Vegas.
And Locke hasn't made it any better. He said it's terrible there. Sorry for anybody who lives in Vegas who's watching this.
It is hot. It's hot and it's weird, and there's lots of strange people, but it's also unique. You know, there's nothing like it. It's Sin City, baby.
I don't have any plans to go to any shows, any upcoming shows. Not because I'm scared of COVID. It's just, you know what? I'm a bit done with them for now.
It'll be an interesting season to see if the shows kind of come back to normal or not. But I'm gonna try to go to NAB because I mean it's easier for me to go than it is for you, so I may go.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Unless somebody pays me, and then maybe I'll think about it.
Yeah, they pay your trip. They pay for the whole thing, and then give you a nice thick paycheck. That'd be nice. Jordan Drake. While we're speaking of Jordan, he asks
all the questions from the DP Review team.
Basically, Jeff Bezos, owner of DP Review.
Give me a job, please.
When people recognize him, is it Kai or DigiRev Guy? People mostly shout, "Hey, the Camera Store," at Chris and I 3 years after we left. Does anybody ever call you DigiRev Guy?
Yeah, sometimes. It's not often, but sometimes they're like. There have been a few times. I guess I can count on my hand the amount of times this happened. But sometimes it's been like, "Hey, Digital Rev, DigiRev." Like, oh, okay. Oh yeah. But there was. I mean, one time that's not too bad. I guess. I mean, that. At
least they watch your
name.
Yeah, they watch your stuff. You know, that's cool.
I mean, other YouTubers, I'm sure PewDiePie gets called PewDiePie. He doesn't get called Hey Felix.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's fine. People might think, oh, Digital Rev is his nickname or something like that. Because nobody really knew it was a shop. Let's face it, right?
Yeah, it was the Kai and Locke show.
Nobody knew or cared that Digital Rev was a shop. And nobody really bought from Digital Rev.
No.
There was one time where I got called Locke.
By
a Chinese guy. I mean,
Oh wow.
you have failed as an Asian guy if you can't tell one Asian guy from another. You can't complain about being treated unfairly, as racially abused, if you are doing your own race no good.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are associated with one another, and maybe he never took a good look at you, and he didn't know which name was which. You're just throwing around names, Locke, Kai, back and forth, and he never connected the dots on who was who.
Learn how to join dots, then. Even kids know how to do that. Jesus. Do you want me to buy you a colouring in book as well?
Somebody asks, and I didn't know this. Let's see. Alex Rusk. Ask Kai about his wristwatches. He had a Paneri and a Rolex at the time of Digirev. Is he still into watches? What are his desires? I didn't know that.
What am I? Yeah, I just took it off when I was, when I was talking about. No, I hate spending money. I took off this Rolex.
I didn't realize that you were into that stuff.
Yeah, I'm really into it. That's what I
cool
spend somebody else's money on.
I don't know. It's just, I guess he just knew that you like wristwatches. What are some of your favories? Tell me about your wristwatch collection, I guess.
Okay. I mean, this can get boring. This. I mean, do you like watches? This is going to get boring for you, isn't it? The world of watches gets quite geeky. They talk in reference numbers. They don't talk, with cameras. It's like, oh, the XT4, whatever. Mind you, that's probably, you could say that's a reference. But you've got like, oh, I have the Rolex 5513, the reference 5513, maxi dial, non-serif, the non-serif. Oh, I've got the serif dial, etc., etc.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
But it started off with the Panerai, which you might have seen in Digital Rev, which is a big watch. That was my first luxury watch, and then it was
nice. I'm looking those up.
It's an addiction. It's an addiction, and it just got worse.
So basically, if you have an addictive personality, don't even try to get into it, because then you'll get sucked in.
Well, it was that or cocaine, and I picked the healthier option, basically.
Have you thought about doing a watch channel? A cocaine channel? No, a watch channel. Have you thought about it? Kai's watches.
Yeah, but there's lots of other people who do it, and they do it quite well. I mean, I watch their channels, so I don't
It's your creative outlet.
Yeah, I don't know if the world needs. I mean, YouTube. There's lots of niches, and there's probably there's not many niches which haven't been done. But I guess the watch niche is a bit difficult because not everybody wants to spend that amount of money on a watch. But I thought about it. I thought maybe I might do a bit here and there, but I don't think I'll go full-blown watch channel. I can't even pump out enough videos on my own channel, let alone start another channel on watches, right?
It's interesting. I didn't know this about you with the watches, but it kind of makes sense now that I think about it, because you are a Leica guy as well, and those are Leicas and watches are kind of in that same handmade.
Yeah, it's the same idiots who spend too much money on a bit of metal, and oh yes, it's all about the art. It's all about the history. It's all about being in touch with a mechanically precise machine. It could be like could be a watch, and they both cost roughly the same amount of money, and then they both have waiting lists. Like Rolexes. Why do people want Rolex? It's because you can't have it. This watch, any sports Rolex model, you can't buy it. They announce a new one every year at the Watches and Wonders, whatever show they call it, and you can't have it. You can't have it unless you've spent a lot of money already in a shop.
I did not know that.
You go into shop, and if you ask for this, you'll probably get laughed at. They'll just say, no. The waiting list is years, so we're not even going to put your name on the list. But yeah, I got this watch. because I knew somebody. So otherwise, this watch would cost you a premium. You would have to pay above the list price just to get it. But I got this at retail because I knew somebody.
Tell me about your book. It's something that I forgot. Like, I think that's why I wanted to have you on like a couple months ago.
Yes,
a month ago or something.
That's why I should be doing.
This is a promotion. This is a promotion for your book. There it is. Tell me about your book.
It's a book.
You were telling me about this privately when you're working on it, and I was like, "What? You're writing a book? I mean, this is amazing. Is it available now?" And tell me about just the process of making a book. I mean, good grief, that's awesome, man.
So this the publishers came. They talked to me. Actually, they talked to me before, and they said, "Hey, would you be interested in making a book?" And I said, "What kind of book?" And then they replied, and I never got back to them. And then just before COVID happened, they wrote another email and said, "Hey, I'm in the country. I'm in the UK. Would you like to meet up and talk about writing a book?" And I said, "All right then." So we met up, and then I said, "Yeah, I think that'd be cool." And then we agreed to it. And then COVID happened because I had some, I had some great ideas because I thought, okay, there's a little bit of a fee, and I thought I'm just going to use that to partially fund a bit of travel and then take lots of photos and put it here. But then COVID happened, lockdown happened, and photos of the inside of my house wouldn't be very interesting. So we just decided to basically get photos from the film community to make a community thing and show photos of people who are probably actually better photographers than me, and show their work off.
That's awesome. I mean, so the book is called Old School Photography: 100 Things You Must Know to Take Fantastic Film Photos. Why a film book? What's kind of the motivation behind that? And you just share your passion about film photography with us.
I mean, I started off learning with a film camera, so it's kind of a passion of mine. It's always been something I've been passionate about. Even when we did digital rev, we did analog rev as a kind of a joke, a bit of a laugh, but it was something that we really enjoyed doing as well because there's all these fantastic film cameras, great looking cameras, but also there's just something likable about shooting film. This whole process, instead of obsessing over the back of a digital camera and looking at the LCD screen, it's just you take a photo, you forget about it, and then weeks later you get this pleasant surprise like, oh, that's a photo I took and it looks pretty cool.
You guys were ahead of your time too. I mean, the film is so much more trendy now than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing. We're doing this book because there's a trend. There's all these trendy people shooting film, but yeah, I mean, it's something that people are getting into. Kodak and Fuji are reintroducing films that they'd previously killed off. So there must be
that's a great thing. I'm really happy to hear that. And I think album sales outsold CD sales last year for the first time since like the 80s or the 90s or something. So we're really seeing this resurgence in analog things because there is something just beautiful and human about film and, for music, I guess albums. It's a physical thing. It's chemistry. It's not ones and zeros doing all the magic, Well,
that's it. I think especially with the year we've had and all this kind of nothing is forever. Your life could be cut short at any moment. It's just you kind of maybe appreciate these things which you can hold, these beautiful slide films that you can look at. Of course, it's not about is film better than digital? Is there any technical advantage over shooting film? No. And then there doesn't have to be. If you like it, then you shoot with it. And I think there are a lot of people who can appreciate just the light, the look and feel of film, and myself included, which is why I want to write books because
Absolutely.
everybody does books about digital cameras, and of course, a lot of the tips can be about digital cameras. Some of the tips are you could just use it for
Composition
digital
or
photography. Yeah, all that.
bokeh.
Bokeh, of course, there's a tip on bokeh. But yeah, I just wanted to do something that before, I don't know, who knows how long this trend in film will last. So this is something that I thought would be nice to do, especially when I first started learning photography and film photography. All the books were dry. They were so dry. I think even a lot of photography books are pretty dry right now. It's all very kind of formulaic, and okay, you have to do this, and it's
like a textbook.
Science.
It's like So you're going to school and reading a boring textbook.
So it's not just it's about film, but I wanted to do a book with tips which are just you can open up and you can just go through one tip, and you don't have to go through the whole thing. You don't have to feel like, okay, I need to finish this before I can hold a camera, before I know how to use a camera. No, just
Absolutely.
get going, and then there's some tips on the way that, without the geek speak, without the kind of technical geeky stuff, that makes it easier to kind of fathom.
Everybody should absolutely pre-order the book. I'm looking at a pre-order page on Amazon right now. Is that right? It's not coming out till July 27th. Is that right?
Yeah.
On my end here, on my Amazon in Nashville, Tennessee, it says this title will be released on July 27th.
Okay. Yeah. I remember it's 27th. It was originally going to come out before then, but then there's issues with printing or whatever.
It's $20. It's a easy buy. If you've been influenced in any way by Kai over the last decade of his work on YouTube, just show him some support and buy this thing right away. Seriously, like, I'm going to buy one, and I would encourage everybody who's listening to buy one because, like you said, even if you're not a film photographer, there's going to be value in this, and it's really just showing your support to Kai, who's really just given so much to us on the internet for the last 10 years. It's insane. So everybody go buy the book. Old School Photography by Kai W.
Thank you for the plug. Also available, I've got a fridge freezer in the garage. If you want to buy that, going cheap. I don't need any more. I've got a built-in freezer in my new kitchen. So make me an offer.
I'm gonna add that. I'm gonna add my fridge freezer as well to the list because I have one in my garage as well. Because this house came with a fridge built in as well, so I've got a spare one.
Look at us flexing our fridges.
It's true. I mean, like in California, almost no apartments had a fridge in the apartment, which is absurd.
Where'd you put it?
No. Like growing up here in Tennessee,
on the street.
No. Every apartment here in Nashville, at least that I ever went to, they came with a fridge. There's a spot for a fridge in California apartments, but they don't supply you with a fridge. You have to bring your own or purchase your own. Most places, most places from where I'm from, at least, always included a fridge with the rental. But
where I'm
from. So California's like, no, you're gonna buy your own. What are you talking about? We're not giving you a free fridge. So we had to buy a fridge, and it was, it was a good fridge. And then we, moved back to Nashville, the place where everywhere you go comes with a fridge. And so, of course, now I got 2 fridges. So, and we were
how did we get here?
There's people who go to like those big wholesale stores and buy like a ton of chicken and popsicles, and they turn the entire fridge into a freezer and keep that in their garage. And I remember going to friends' houses that their parents basically just had a freezer in their garage just filled with meat and all sorts of different things. Just like a stockpile. We're not those types of people. We basically go to the grocery store, we get what we need that week, and then we go again next week. And we just kind of eat as the week goes on. There's a lot of people that like to stockpile. I don't do that.
Extreme couponers.
It's true. The couponing is a real thing. It's an addiction.
So you've got 2 fridges.
I've got 2 fridges and you've got 2 fridges. So depending on what side of the pond you're on, reach out to either one of us. We'll give you a fridge. So many people ask about your voice, but I don't know why. Like, you must get a lot of comments about that. I mean, you just were blessed with a beautiful voice. I don't know why people are asking about it. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's like, do you use auto-tune with your voice? Was there any professional training of any kind, or is it literally just a curse that you were born with, this easy to listen to voice? It's just how you were born. There's nothing to it.
Yeah, I spent 3 years in the training school for making really kick-ass voiceovers. No, it's just the way I sound, I guess. So it came a point when I was quite squeaky as a kid. Well, all kids are a bit squeaky, but then it came a point when it was just like boom. I was in choirs and stuff before, and suddenly boom, get out of the choir, because it's like hello, I sound a bit like Mr. Bean. No, it just
Mr. Bean.
It just came. It's not like I force
trained
it or
for
anything. It's just how it is. And often I see comments and it's like voice doesn't match face. Just it's fair enough. It's fair enough. I should do radio. I should do podcasting.
You should. I mean, well, here's the thing. You do whatever you want, Kai. Nobody's holding you to anything. Just do you. That's all we want. If it's a book, we'll take the book. If it's the Golden Hour podcast with Dave Mays, we'll take that. If it's DigiRev TV, so be it. You and Locke are going back to DigiRev, right?
I don't want to correct you so late in the game, but it's actually Digital Rev. It's one of those awkward moments because you do say DigiRev, and then I say Digital Rev, and then I just thought, you know what?
Why do I keep saying that?
I don't know. Why do you keep calling it Ryko?
Shut up, man. Oh, I'm such a dork. That tells you that. Hey, you know what that tells you? That tells you how young I was when I started watching your channel.
You never watched it all.
I was like 16 years old when this thing was a thing.
Okay.
Jeez, give me a break.
How old are you now?
It's DigiRev. Hey, Mom, can I watch the DigiRev show? That's what I was doing.
But as well, nobody. There's a lot of people who do the same. They're like, oh, DigiRev.
The real question is, why didn't you change it to DigiRev? Because it's clearly a better name. No, I mean, let me see. I'm going all the way back here. 7 years ago. That was kind of the heyday, wasn't it? 7 years ago? 8 years ago?
Sorry, the question is, why didn't I change the name of a company that isn't mine? just for people who didn't read it properly.
No, I take full responsibility. I ask for your sincerest apologies.
I don't get it. It's not my company anyway. Get it wrong all you like.
I watched virtually every video on your channel, I promise you. And I could have swore on my mother's ungriven grave. Is that a word? That it was called DigiRev. And
let's not knock off people who are not knocked off yet. Especially,
oh my gosh,
especially one
such an idiot.
It's
You're right. Digital Rev.
It's
Digital Rev.
Yeah. Well, you're checking it.
I am. I'm going all the way back to like 10, 12 years
Kai's
ago.
old. He's a bit senile. He might be wrong. Sorry, I'm just throwing bits of metal around now. He might be wrong, so I'm going to check it myself. He might be the one who's wrong.
Hey, it's okay. Nobody could ever say my last name, which is why I changed my name to Dave Mays anyways. So
what's the funniest pronunciation of your name that you've ever heard?
Well, it's kind of obvious when people are dyslexic, because it's Altizer, Altizer, And I don't even know if that's how you're supposed to say it. That's just how my stupid, American family calls it. It's a German name apparently.
Okay.
So it's probably Altizer. But people will say Allitzer, and you know that they're dyslexic because it's like, oh, you must be dyslexic because it's Altizer. People say Allitzer all the time.
Yeah.
Alzheimer's, of course. When I was a kid, people would make fun of me because it sounds like the disease.
Did you say? Oh, I was going to say. Did you just say Alzheimer?
Alzheimer's, yeah. However, see, I don't even know how to say that either. So
You've had enough of Cali, have you?
no, it's a long story, but I mean,
Okay.
to be honest, yeah, I just Indie Mogul was a total dream job for me. It was a great channel, and it had a great heritage, and I felt like I was setting it up well, and I was excited about the future, but it wasn't a healthy environment for me and for my family.
All the haters chased you out of town. Like, this kid isn't from around here. We're going to throw stones at him digitally until he runs off.
No, I mean, there's really no hard feelings or anything. It's just I was just feeling kind of, isolated out there. I had no family really out there. My parents live here, and they're, offering to help us with the kids and stuff if we move back. And basically, I got a job offer that matched what I was making at Indie Mogul to move back here, and they paid for the whole move and everything. And we're able to have a house here and afford that with 2 fridges. So, it was just like one of those kind of family decisions that I had to make. But it took me a couple months to kind of get over the I did it for my family, but I never fully accepted it. I think myself, I was still dealing with a little bit of depression of I was the host of Indie Mogul, and then now I'm not all of a sudden,
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to kind of realize am I okay with being myself, like David, myself without YouTube, without anything? Do I have peace as an individual, as a person? And, so I feel good now. I feel balanced. I feel really content, and so I'm ready to kind of get back into it a little bit because I feel like I'm in a healthier place.
That's good, because I imagine when you're doing YouTube and then suddenly you're not. That has been your thing for some time, and then you're not doing it, and then you watch other people still carrying on. That must grate you, right? That must get to you.
Yeah, but what I think the real question that I had to ask was, what is my actual identity? Am I a YouTuber, or am I a husband, a father, a friend, a son? Those are the things that actually matter. And here's the funny thing too is we're still friends. I think, right? You're pretending to be my friend right now.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
It was a genuine kind of probably insecure fear that I had. My favorite thing about being a YouTuber was being friends with other YouTubers and just having that camaraderie and almost everybody that was a YouTuber. I don't know what it is. It's just something about those type of people I connected with better. And I'm still friends with everybody. It's not, people aren't my friend anymore because I stopped. Some
people connect with other YouTubers really well. It's not that. I mean, I haven't done too many collabs, but it's mainly because I don't know. I just don't know how to best to reach out to people without seeming like I want something from them, or because there are some YouTubers who, if you talk to them, it suddenly becomes okay. What's your sub count? How famous are you? And what can I get out of it?
Yeah. Well, I hate that. And I think being able to be away from that for a couple of months has kind of cleared that up a little bit, I guess, for me. But yeah, I mean, that's a terrible way to live.
But there are some people on YouTube who are really, really nice people. I'm not gonna go name who's really nice and who are douches. That's potentially another podcast, isn't it?
Yeah,
Dave?
yeah, totally.
Leave a comment below if you'd like to see that.
Have you gone through what I was kind of going through it all for you? Like, have you? I mean, we kind of started this podcast off talking about your overall kind of happiness right now, but like, did you have to go through any type of identity crisis, if you will? You know, going from digital Rev TV or, you know, Kai W, the big famous gear review guy. You know, do you deal with that, or have you ever dealt with that?
Yeah, I mean, even when when I went solo, even halfway through, I thought, you know, maybe I want to do something which is, you know, a group, a collective. You know, it's not just all about me. It's about a group of people making videos about photography and cameras, because, yeah, you know, eventually might get bored of just being, okay, this is me, and the channel really isn't all about me. It's not. I don't really offer any insight into my life. You know, there's only so much I show, so it's not really Kai W. It's not. There's nothing to see that is Kai W. It's just it's become, okay, this new camera, another new camera. And I think when I first started Kai W, I did think, okay, this will be about my life and this doing this and working on that. And for some time it was that. It was, okay, I'm doing this Nat Geo thing. I'm working on this. I'm working on something else. I'm traveling here and there. But then, you know, doing the family thing, it kind of slows down a bit. And it's become more focused on products. And I like products. I love new gear, and I love making videos about new gear. But when it's just, okay, I have to meet it's the embargo and try having to be there on time. Back in the digital web days, it wasn't about that. It was like we just make it on our own time scale. Now it's this kind of it's this embargo, and everybody else is going to get their video out on time, and then everybody publishes their videos at the same time, and then it's like, oh, who's getting more views?
Yeah.
You know, you start comparing, and that's not very healthy.
No.
I mean, I said before in the video that it was always about making videos that, like, me and Locke and me and the boys would watch back and we would just laugh at.
Yeah.
And then we'd publish on the internet because we enjoyed it and we want to share it. And it's become more about, it's the views, and it's about working on the manufacturer's time.
Yeah.
It's about, the manufacturer has come up with this embargo and they want to have this big marketing push. And you're just working on that because everybody else is. And then it's a cutthroat thing, isn't it?
Exactly. That's why I felt like, as an entertainer and as a video creator, I didn't want to spend my life doing that forever, you know? So it's like, you look at entertainers on YouTube and they can kind of make whatever, whenever, because it's just about the comedy or the topic, you know, whether it's a trending topic in pop culture, or, you know, I looked at a lot of commentary channels, people who do these really funny commentaries about, you know, it could be this random movie that was made in the early 2000s that's like worst film ever made, and they just do like an analysis of it, and just, it's a hilarious film or whatever. Or, you know, I just was like, I don't know if I want to stay in this camera gear niche, because it's become, now I'm serving these companies rather than just making stuff I love, which was how I started on YouTube as well.
Yeah, because we always used to, you know, back in the days, we always used to say, okay, Canon, whatever, review, but it wasn't necessarily a review. It was just, it's a show, an entertainment show, which features cameras, and photography. So that's what I enjoyed. It was the entertainment, creating something which is not just okay, let's talk about the ergonomics, let's talk about specs, let's talk about the menu system, let's talk about now let's move on to the auto focusing system. and that's what I found myself moving towards. Not really. I didn't really think, okay, I've got to move towards this. I've got to make this. I want to be DP review because everybody else is doing it as well. I just ended up doing that, and I watched the videos back, and eventually I stopped watching my own videos. Before, when I first went solo, I'd still watch my own videos and think, okay, that's some funny stuff. But it just became, okay, I've got to mention this. This product, I've been, I've written down notes about the product. Oh, I've got to mention that. I can't forget about that. So yeah, it becomes your putty in the hands of the brands. Even though you're giving this impartial review, you're still part of that marketing push. So, not complaining, because if you want to have those products, then you have to be part of that, right?
Yeah.
That's how it works now.
No, you're right.
It was different. It was different 10 years ago. It was just, can we email them? Can we get our hands on this camera? We'd like to make a video about it. Often it would be no, but sometimes they'll let us borrow, and they wouldn't think, okay, how many views are you going to get? It was still a very new thing. Why are you making a YouTube video about it? Even just a few years ago, even when I went solo, it was kind of like, YouTube. when I go to these new product launches, all of them are from traditional print media. Mm-hmm. These days, you've got all these vloggers and YouTube people going along. It's completely different now, and
you're right.
That's why on launch day of a Sony product, you might see just endless videos. Even before it, there'll be rumors about it, and you just see endless videos from a load of YouTubers saying, "Oh, brand new A7S IV."
Yeah.
Because there's the embargo, because there's this push to make a video and release it once that embargo is lifted, people are going to do it before that, because they might not necessarily have the product. And even if they will get the product, and they already do have the product in their hands, they want to get their foot in the door on the views, right?
Well, I think at a certain point, you can transition away from just the hustle too, right? Like Caleb Pike, we mentioned him earlier. He makes videos about interesting rigs that he creates using all sorts of different little doohickeys, and maybe he has a new camera that is included in that, but the topic is more of just an interesting topic, When I was with Indie Mogul, I was trying to play around with that. I had some game show ideas, like, one of the last videos I did was iJustine versus Armando Fiera, and
I saw that.
I tried to make it as entertaining as I could, and I don't know. I think there's still room for that, but I don't know. Is it a waste to do it on such a small niche? Maybe.
I don't think so. Because how many people are doing camera reviews in the same way? The kind of I'm just gonna stand here and talk about the product now. I'm gonna go through all of this and that. There's plenty of that.
Yeah.
But you adding your personality and your entertaining ideas is what makes it unique. That's the unique selling point, isn't it?
Yeah, but nobody watched it, so
it takes time. It takes.
Yeah.
If I started now, maybe it would be the same, right? It's just because people were like, "Oh, it's that DigiRev guy."
You're right.
I'm going to follow him because he's been around forever.
Well, maybe you just talked me into starting my own gear review channel again.
You should do it. Totally do it.
I've been
Canon USA, Sony USA, give Dave Mays some products. Put him on the list.
That's a great way to close it. Thank you, Kai W, for coming on the Golden Hour podcast yet again. Thank you for the amazing plug there at the end. I'm going to plug you again.
Ooh, sounds good.
I'm going to put a plug in you. Oh my gosh.
I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it, Dave.
No, I'm going to plug the book again here. Old School Photography, 100 Things You Must Know to Take Fantastic Film Photos. Link in the description, link in the show notes if you're listening to the audio. $20 if you've been influenced by Kai in any way over the last decade, or even just enjoyed this podcast. Please go give it a pre-order. If you're listening when it's already out, give it an order. It's on Amazon, anywhere you can buy books. Well, I don't know. Is it anywhere you can buy books? Is it going to be in bookstores as well?
All the good ones.
Cool.
Barnes and Noble.
Oh, awesome.
Amazon. Name another good bookshop in America.
Books A Million is a big one. Yeah.
No, not them. Not them.
Okay.
Barnes and Noble. That's all you need to know.
Barnes and Noble and Amazon, and I mean, Amazon started as a book site, so that's the ultimate book site. Let's be honest, everybody's going to buy it from Amazon, and I love what you've done with the cover. You've got like an old Leica Wong Flex.
Nikon F.
Yeah, I like that. You named it Wong Flex instead of Leica Flex.
It's I'm going to do a Kickstarter. I'm going to create a Wong Flex. The Mandarin version would be Wang Flex, by the way.
Okay.
Just so you know.
That's why I called it DigiRev, because that's the Mandarin pronunciation, right?
They use that.
Yeah, perfect. All right, thanks, Kai.
No problem at all. Anytime.